welcome to Uncle Dave's Brigade. Today I've got a Led Zeppelin song by special request from my friend Ryan, When the Levee Breaks. So I got some interesting story on the origins of this song, a little controversial origins of the song. So stick around, I'll tell you more about it. But right now, we're going to get to the video. If you're new here, the way I do it is I don't stop the video, I let it play all the way through. And if you like that kind of thing, then hit like, subscribe, post notification bell down below, and help support Uncle Dave, okay? So let's get to it. I have a little bit of trivia history behind this song, how it was made, how it was mixed, and a little bit of a surprise on the origin. So let's get to it, and we'll talk about it later. How about that?
Keeps on raining, Levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, Levee's going to break. When the levee breaks, have no place to stay. Mean old levee, taught me to weep and moan. It's got what it takes to make a mountain man leave his home. Oh well, oh well, oh well.
don't get me wrong, I like Led Zeppelin, but here's my criticism. They're repetitive, they're string out a song too long, and he's a screamer. Robert Plant is a screamer, not a singer, in my humble opinion. Uh, this is not one of their better songs to me, but that aside, it is an interesting song. If you could understand the lyrics, which you really couldn't, um, in this particular song, it's an interesting story about a true story. It was written in 1927, believe it or not. 1927, Robert Plant had this record written by a lady named Memphis Minnie. That was her stage name. Real name was Lizzie McCoy. She was a blues singer back then. And it was about the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927. It was written in 1929 and was a hit for her. And it was about a levee that was going to be breaking in Mississippi. Now the story goes is a bit controversial. It is said that black plantation um, workers were forced at gunpoint to put sandbags on the levee. Well, there's a problem there because in 1927 slavery wasn't around, and there weren't any plantations, not active anyway, and there weren't any plantation slaves. So there's some doubt as to the origin of the song or the meaning behind the song. But as the story goes, according to Memphis Minnie, they were forced at gunpoint to put the bags onto the levee and to keep it from busting down. And then after the mess did happen, the um, cleanup was forced as well. And again, the black slaves or the black workers were forced to do the cleanup. They weren't allowed to leave the area. So I don't know how much of that story is true and how much of it, but it is an interesting story, an interesting background to the story. And that Robert Plant locked onto a 1927 story was kind of interesting in mind. He had a record collection that included this particular one. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this was a heavily mixed song. They mixed it pretty heavily in the studio. They only played it in concert 2 times because it was so heavily mixed, it made it very difficult for them to play it live. And so they played it twice in 1975 and never played it again live because the mixing part was just so much of it. The other thing I found very interesting was the fact that the drums were recorded in a stairwell to give it an echo effect, and then it was mixed into an echo machine. So it really gave that powerful effect, particularly in the beginning. You can hear when the song starts that powerful effect that the drums were like a chamber, and then they put it to a mixing machine as well and made it even more so. So that that's a pretty interesting way to do a drum set. I've heard drums being done in bathrooms, because of the tile and the acoustics there, and stairwells and places like that. So this is one of them. But anyway, that's When the Levee Breaks. Did this for my friend Ryan. I hope you liked it, and hope y'all liked it as well. I know I'm going to get hate mail for saying bad things about Led Zeppelin, but they're a great band, no doubt. But I think there are some criticisms that they need to own up to, and I think I'm correct. But hey, argue with me. Put down below. See what you think. If you agree with me, let me know. If you don't, argue with me. And I'm glad you stopped in, whether you liked it or you didn't. If you would, leave a comment. Let me know. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Be nice to each other. Be nice to yourself out there, okay? Thanks.